Welcome back, audience of The Informed Entrepreneur. My name is Heike Heyman with IdeaShare Business Coaching, and we're here today with Louise Orders of Dauntless Fitness, as you can see in the background. Thanks for having us here today, Louise.
Welcome. Glad you're
Great
here.
to speak with you. Could you share a little bit about what you do here at Dauntless Fitness?
Sure. Dauntless is a private training studio. We offer private, semi-private, and small group fitness training and health coaching. And we also have massage therapy and some yoga classes as well.
And the health coaching focuses mostly on nutrition?
The health coaching takes a very holistic approach to health. So yes, nutrition is a component, movement is a component, sleep, wellness in general. Really.
Could you share how you came to be a business owner?
Sure. So I was working at a large athletic club in the county for 12 years as a personal trainer and a massage therapist. And it was a private club, and it sold to a corporate entity. And I looked at it, and it really wasn't a good fit for me. I had developed a lot of programs that were my own that would have had to be rebranded under their name and their brand, and that just wasn't going to work. So being a business owner was something that had been on my list of things to do when my kids were off to college, but the opportunity presented itself a little sooner. So I made the move then. It was the right move.
And you moved with a partner.
I did.
And have now expanded to a team.
Correct, yeah. So Dauntless is co-owned, myself and my business partner, who was also a trainer at this other private club. But since then, the business has grown so much that we've brought on other trainers. There's 8 of us here now. And yeah, so it's bigger.
Fantastic. And what age range do you work with?
So we have trainers that are working with kids from local high schools. We have trainers that are doing things with middle school kids and in family format, family workouts. But then we also have people in their 70s and 80s as well. So
that's awesome. Definitely something to shoot for.
Yeah.
So is it common in your industry to be specialized on children and their athletic goals for, I'm assuming, competition?
It's common in the industry for an individual to have a specific niche and to really educate themselves in that niche, because there's personal training and then there's specialty training.
Right.
All of us start with a generalized personal training credential of some sort. But then we all have a particular audience that we seem to have an affinity for, a particular ideal client, and all of us will tend to go out and educate ourselves in that area. And really we're able to work across that age spectrum because of the diversity of talent that we have amongst the staff.
Right.
I mean, I don't necessarily work with high school students. I could, but that's not my specialty. But the woman who's here does and has a lot of experience at it and does really well with it.
That's fantastic. And you mentioned earlier that everyone on your team does continuing education. Can you talk about the value of that and what that brings to your club?
Sure. So yes, without a doubt, the people, the staff that are here are not just credentialed certificates type of thing. We've got a lot of people with degrees in exercise science or exercise physiology or sports exercise, that type of thing. So continuing education is critical in this field. I mean, the health field itself, whether it's nutrition or whether it's fitness, is constantly evolving. And really the best professionals, in my opinion, are the ones who have been in it for a long period of time and are just continually educating themselves, not just for the sake of renewing their certification every 2 years, but being able to better serve a client's needs.
Right, that's fantastic. Before we roll the camera, we spoke a little bit about the time frame between you finding out about this other club being sold and starting your own business and the challenges that brought about. Can you talk a little bit about that experience? And you mentioned one particular professional that helped you in this process, a commercial lawyer.
We did. We used a real estate attorney to help us with the lease negotiations when we got in. But I found out about the sale of the private club that we were at the day that I returned from a summer vacation, and less than 8 weeks later we opened our doors. I mean, it went very fast. But as I mentioned to you earlier, we had an existing clientele. Both myself and my business partner had full-time business as independent contractors at this other club, and everybody came with us because of our proximity to the old location. So the move was very natural for us. It was very much the right thing to do, and we had a business, we just needed a place to put it. And we drove ourselves up and down the road one day looking at commercial spaces and came into this one, and as soon as we walked through the door we knew it was the right space. We did use a fitness facility space designer to help us with the arrangement of the inner workings of the studio a little bit.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
Yeah, I think more so that we wouldn't have to put a lot of thought into it because we had so many other things to try and pull together.
Yes,
And he was someone that we knew, so we used his help, and he helped us with the initial layout of the studio. And,
but then you got to deal with the contractors and the actual build-out of the space.
We did a little bit of a build-out because it was a blank slate. I mean, we needed new flooring, we needed new paint, we did do the addition of some rooms. So yeah, there was a little bit of that too.
And then, of course, there was some financial outlay, not just for the lease and the walls, but the actual equipment, which can also be daunting for people.
Yes, absolutely.
To put that money out there.
Yep.
Fantastic. So can you talk a little bit about other professionals that have helped you along the way? Anything from, a CPA to the consulting firm you work with now?
Yeah, so we've tried a couple of different business coaching arrangements. We're working with one now that's specific to the fitness industry and tends to have many other fitness businesses that they're coaching at the same time, so it's a little bit of a collaboration with other businesses. And that works pretty well. I think we definitely have been very grateful for the help of an accountant who's taken over the accountant, bookkeeper as well, was critical.
Yes.
Really those are the primaries that we've benefited the most from.
But it is hugely important for any business owner to keep their numbers in line and make sure that there is proper accounting, not just for tax purposes, but so you know to what extent your business is growing, where the profits are going, etc.
Absolutely.
How do your clients find you, especially the newer ones that you didn't bring from this other club? Since we're not on an actual thoroughfare right here.
No. Yeah, that mysterious field of marketing, right? Yeah, our business growth has been driven by referrals from existing clients, truly by word of mouth. We've done very little print or web-based advertising. We do have a website. We started with a website that has decent traffic. We have our Facebook page. We have another social media account.
Yes.
But we really don't do a lot on that.
Right.
Facebook isn't so much used by our primary ideal client base, so it's not a very effective form of marketing for us, but word of mouth.
Yes, and the other thing you mentioned earlier is that even though you were involved in a chamber locally, you actually had to step away from that because you got too busy.
I got too busy. I couldn't make the meetings. Yes, true.
Something else you mentioned is that your kids got to see what it's like to run a business. Can you talk a little bit about how they may have benefited from you starting this, running it now for 3 years?
Sure. I love that question. It's just a lot of women are torn between being a mom, being at home, trying to work, all of that, and it's challenging, without a doubt. It's very challenging, but as I mentioned, I met with my kids before making this move and said, here's what I want to do. Is this okay with you? It's going to take a lot of time, it's going to take a lot of energy, but this is what it'll look like, and this is what I'm hoping for. And they were nothing but supportive. They loved the idea. What I love most is being able to show my children that you can love what you do, and that it doesn't have to be just work.
Right.
You can work to make a living, or you can work to make a life. And I might come home exhausted from a day of working with clients for 10, 12 hours, but I almost always come home with a smile on my face and good stories to tell. And I love that they see that work can be about service and community and helping other people.
Yes.
And not just a method of making money.
And I would imagine even friendships over time.
Absolutely,
Yes.
without question. Yeah.
Something that's not visible to our audience is we're looking here at a wall of photographs of accomplishments with people wearing medals and being on podiums and things like that.
And climbing mountains.
The accomplishment wall is quite extensive.
It's fun. It's all our clients.
Everyone's wearing a smile. So
Yeah, right.
lives are being changed here at Dauntless Fitness. Is there any other advice you would have for someone trying to decide whether to make that step into ownership?
You know, I think what's been very helpful for my partner and I is that we knew when we got here very specifically what it was we wanted to provide and what we wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very easy to sort of have that squirrel kind of response. That looks fun, let's try that. Or maybe that could work, let's go try this. It's easy because there's a lot of temptation to just keep trying different things to see what works.
Right.
We didn't need to do that. We had a very strong idea about what it was we wanted to provide and how we wanted to provide it, and we've stuck to that. And I think that's been instrumental to our success.
Yes, having the vision and the goals, and hopefully you're having it written down as well. Can you talk a little bit about having a business partner as opposed to running it by yourself?
I could never do it by myself. There's absolutely no way I could do it by myself.
How do you share responsibilities?
We share responsibilities based on what we bring to the table, where our strengths are, and where our relative weaknesses are. And we complement each other really well that way. We have a tremendous amount of respect for one another and constant communication.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And that's also a really good piece of advice. You cannot just sit in your office and try not to talk to your business partner. You have to communicate and really keep the channels open. And in many cases, it's advisable to even have a contract up front that says, you know, you do this, I do that, and if we want to change that, then we need to have some kind of way to come to an agreement before that is implemented.
And that's a great point, if I could add. I mean, job descriptions we're still working on 3 years later, 3 years into the business, we're still working on it. But it's important both to understand who's doing what and who's getting what done, but it really helps us organize our time as well, because I know what I'm responsible for, she knows what she's responsible for, and that helps us organize our weeks, what needs to be done.
One of the things that I have heard from other business owners is that one of the more challenging things of running a business is running a team. How did you grow your team, and have there been any challenges that have taught you something that you could pass on?
It comes back to communication again, and shared vision, without a doubt. The people that are here with us are here because they share our vision of how personal training services and health coaching services can be delivered through development of relationships with people. And we don't take a one-size-fits-all approach to health or fitness here. So not everyone follows the same diet or does the same workout or follows the same plan. Because we believe that what's best is what's best for the individual. So we are really helping each individual find what works best for them. It's very much collaborative, as opposed to this is our mold, try it.
Exactly.
So the trainers that are here share that vision, and that's very helpful. That eliminates a lot of challenges up front. And I think, again, the more communication, the better.
Okay.
Honestly.
Fantastic.
Plus, my partner, Beth, and I have a very healthy respect for the professionals that we've asked to come and join the team here. We bring them in. There aren't rules, there's guidelines, there's approaches, there's philosophy, and in general, everybody's in agreement on that to begin with. So at that point, they get to go out and be the professional that we believe them to be and conduct their business, and they do.
And I would imagine that ties right into the company culture you've created, if you will. There's even though there was no one else here when I walked in, there's a positive vibe from
on a Friday afternoon, right?
From the smiling pictures on the wall to actually in the studio, there are a lot of upbeat sayings, and it really seems like positive messages are important within the company and for your clients.
Sure. I would say that what happens in there is the exploration of possibility.
Oh, I like that.
And we just ask people to remain curious and to seek the possibilities, to explore the possibilities of what they're capable of doing and achieving.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, there's no pressure, there's just curiosity and fun.
Sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
So hopefully, based on this information, some of you will come and try out Dauntless Fitness, and some others may end up taking the plunge and becoming a business owner. Who knows? Thank you for joining us, and we hope you will join us for a future interview or conversation with another business owner. In the meantime, I'm Heike Heeman with Ideas Business Coaching, here with Louise Orders of Dauntless Fitness. Bye. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Awesome.